bedrock of Jerusalem will be split. And just over this way, we're told by the prophet that there's going to be such a gigantic earthquake and will split in two. And those who are fleeing from Antichrist will be able to run through.
Something unimaginable is happening on the Mount of Olives. The ground itself is breaking open. Beneath centuries of dust and prophecy, new cracks are forming exactly where ancient scripture said the earth would divide. Scientists call it movement. Believers call it a sign. Could this trembling mountain be the stage where eternity begins to unfold? For centuries, the Mount of Olives has stood in silence, watching Jerusalem shimmer beneath the sun. Kings, prophets, and pilgrims have walked its paths, unaware of what slept beneath their feet. But now the silence is breaking. Long cracks cut across the ancient soil, deepening with every season. What once was still now trembles. People stand in awe, whispering, "Could this be the very mountain Zechariah spoke of, the one destined to split when the Lord returns?" Stones shift, dust rises, the earth seems to breathe again, waiting for something greater, and this is only the beginning. The Mount of Olives is no ordinary hill. It's the place where David wept in sorrow, where Ezekiel saw God's glory depart, where Jesus prayed beneath the olive trees before his arrest. Every stone carries a story. Every root remembers his tears. From its peak, one can look straight into the heart of Jerusalem, to the sealed eastern gate. Prophets say the Messiah will return there, walking from this very mount through that ancient gate. But today, the path between them is shifting again. The ground cracks deeper each year, as if the past itself is trying to speak. Facing the Mount of Olives is the eastern gate, closed for centuries. Its stones are sealed, its arches silent. Yet prophecy declares that one day the Messiah will enter Jerusalem through that very gate. From the mountain to the wall, the alignment is perfect, like a divine arrow drawn across time. Pilgrims say it feels alive, as if the city itself remembers the footsteps of the king. Could this sleeping gate be waiting for the same moment the mountain prepares for? Two ancient witnesses, one trembling, one sealed, both holding their breath for what's to come. In recent years, geologists have begun noticing strange patterns along the mountain slope, fissures running east to west, deepening quietly under the sun. Some stretch for yards, cutting through tombs and paths older than history. The Mount of Olives sits on a fault line that runs from the Dead Sea to the Mediterranean. The earth groans beneath it, shifting inch by inch. Scientists call it tectonic pressure, but believers see divine precision. The direction of the cracks matches the prophecy exactly. Could this be mere coincidence, or is the mountain rehearsing a moment written long before time?
Experts measure tremors, map fractures, and chart pressure lines. They speak of rock movement and natural erosion. But for those who know the scriptures, every vibration feels like a heartbeat from heaven. Zechariah wrote that the Mount of Olives will split from east to west, forming a great valley. And now the mountain cracks along that same line. Nature and prophecy seem to echo each other. Could this trembling earth be a divine reminder that history moves according to God's design? The instruments record numbers, but faith hears a promise that refuses to stay buried. Long ago, Zechariah spoke of a day when the Lord himself would stand on the Mount of Olives. When his feet touch the earth, the mountain will divide in two, and a valley will open for his people to escape. It was written as a promise, not a metaphor. And now the very soil seems restless beneath our generation's feet. What happens when divine prophecy begins to echo through creation itself? The same mountain that carried his sorrow might soon feel the weight of his return. Could we be closer to that moment than we dare imagine? Imagine the sky darkening as light bursts over Jerusalem's walls. The mountain splits open, dust rising like incense, and the golden gate stands ready. The king descends, not in weakness, but in glory. The cries of Hosanna echo again, this time forever. Every crack, every tremor, every shifting stone seems to whisper this promise. The Mount of Olives, once a place of tears, becomes the stage of triumph. Scripture, science, and time collide in a single heartbeat. The earth is not breaking apart. It's opening its arms, and something greater is stepping through. The apostle wrote that all creation groans, waiting for redemption. Perhaps this mountain is groaning too. Each tremor is a sigh from the earth, longing for its creator's return. The stones that once heard Jesus pray now echo with movement. Maybe it's not destruction, but preparation. As the mountain shifts, heaven's clock ticks forward. Could this be the beginning of the final chapter? The ground itself seems to answer with every shake. The signs are not in the sky this time. They're beneath our feet, and they're growing louder with every passing day. For thousands of years, the Mount of Olives has carried the prayers of the world. Beneath its quiet surface lies the hope of nations, a sacred meeting point where heaven once touched the earth. For the Jewish people, this mountain is not only soil and stone, it is the gateway to resurrection. Generations have chosen to be buried on its slopes, believing that when the Messiah comes, this is where the dead will rise first. More than 150,000 tombs rest here, each one a silent declaration of faith in God's promise. For Christians, the Mount of Olives is even more personal. This was the mountain of Christ's tears and triumphs, where he looked over Jerusalem and wept, where he was betrayed, and where he ascended into heaven. And Scripture says he will return in the same way he left, his feet touching this very ground once more. Every fissure forming across its ridges seems to echo that promise. The same Jesus you saw go up will return the same way. For Muslims too, this mountain holds divine weight, the place of final judgment, where the righteous will be separated from the wicked. 3 faiths, 3 visions of the end, yet one trembling mountain beneath them all. Now the earth beneath this shared hope begins to move. The cracks that open are not just geological, they are symbolic, spiritual, universal. As if creation itself is whispering to every faith, every heart, prepare. The Mount of Olives, once the stage of history, may soon become the stage of eternity. The question is no longer whether the mountain will split, but when. And when it does, whose side will we stand on? Dust drifts across the tombs like ancient breath. Stones tremble. The Mount of Olives, this silent witness to millennia, is stirring again. Cameras record the fissures inching wider. Scientists measure the shifting ground, yet beneath the data, something older and deeper calls out. Scripture spoke of this moment long before the first crack appeared. On that day, his feet will stand upon the Mount of Olives, and the mountain shall split in two. That prophecy, once distant and poetic, now feels terrifyingly literal. Each new tremor seems to echo those words louder, as if the mountain itself remembers. The earth is preparing for a visitation. It is as though the soil itself is aligning with heaven's calendar. The cracks run east to west, exactly as written. The eastern gate still stands sealed, facing this mountain like a locked door awaiting a royal key. When the king returns, that gate will open, not by hand, but by his presence. For now the tremors continue, small, quiet, but growing. Some call it coincidence, others divine rehearsal. Either way, the stage is being set. The same ground that felt Jesus' footsteps is shifting again beneath our own. And maybe, just maybe, these aren't fractures of destruction, but birth pangs of redemption. The earth groans, the stones move, and the air hums with unseen anticipation. When the mountain finally divides, it will not only reshape the land, it will redefine history. Every prophecy will meet its moment. Every promise will stand fulfilled. And as the dust rises once more, one truth will echo across time. The King is coming. But the real question lingers. Are we ready when the ground beneath us finally gives its answer? As the Mount of Olives trembles and the earth whispers prophecy, one question remains. Are these just cracks in stone, or the first rumblings of eternity breaking through? The ground is moving, and the story isn't finished yet.